order the Fishers Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for Wednesday, March 26th, 2025. I'd ask those that are able to please rise with me for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Ferrucci.
Here.
Mr. Grinsley.
Here.
Mr. Sylvie.
Here.
Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
And Mr. Lannon. Thank you very much, Greg, for being on the call. We do have quorum.
We have a quorum. Our first order of business tonight is elections, appointments, and designations. So the first order would be an election of a chairperson. Do we have a motion for the chair of the Fishers Board of Zoning Appeals?
Yes, we do. I will make a motion to nominate Mr. Ferrucci as the chairperson.
We have a motion. We have a second. Secretary?
Mr. Grinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon. Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Our next order would be election of a vice chairperson, and for that, I'd like to nominate Mr. Stevenson. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second.
Mr. Grinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon. Aye. Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes. Mr. Stevenson will be our vice chairperson. Next order is appointment of secretaries, Mr. Hillary, Ms. Herron, Ms. Cashin, Mr. Martin, and Ms. Wiley. Do we have a motion? Motion for appointment of secretaries. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Grinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon. Aye. Thank you. And Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes. Next, appointment of recording secretary, Kate Prang and Kelly Lewerk. Do you have a motion?
Motion recording.
Second.
Mr. Grinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon. Aye. Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes.
Thank you.
Designation of Plan Commission Legal Counsel, Craig Duvall. Motion?
Motion. Second.
Mr. Grinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon. Mr. Lannon.
Oh, sorry, aye.
Thank you. And Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes. And finally, designation of Commission Legal Publications in Noblesville Times, The Current, and the Hamilton County Reporter. Do we have a second? Oh, excuse me.
Motion.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Second.
Okay. Mr. Grinsley.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie.
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon.
Aye.
And Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Secretary. Our next order would be approval of our previous minutes from January 22nd of 2025. Do we have any revisions or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the January 22nd, 2025 minutes.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the minutes. We'll move on to our public hearing. Before we do that, do we have any old business that we need to attend to, staff?
No.
No old business, okay. Our new business this evening consists of two petitions. I think out of courtesy for the second petitioner, and because I think our first petitioner is running late, we're going to take the second petition first. So that would be John Swafford Accessory Building, address 15014 Geist Ridge Drive, case VA-25-1, It's consideration of a development standards variance from the Unified Development Ordinance, Section 6.2.2, to allow an increase in the maximum height of an accessory structure from 18 to 24 feet. Our petitioner is Jay Chrisman, and the planner is Gabrielle Herron. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kevin Martin, Assistant Director of Planning and Zoning, filling in for Gabrielle today. As you mentioned, this is VA 25-1, known as the John Software Accessory Building Height Variance. This is a development standards variance, and the petitioner is Jay Chrisman. So the location of the proposed project and variance that is being sought today is address at 15014 Geist Ridge Drive, Fishers, Indiana. As you can see in the image, this is off of Geist Ridge Drive and a couple lots west of Florida Road. And the property itself actually, the rear side of it, the northern part of the property is within the flood zone and fronts Fall Creek, as shown in the image. We'll go on into the zoning of the property. So here you see the property outlined in red. I will say it's important to note that the parcel directly adjacent to the east is also owned by the same owner from this project. The property is located within the R2 residential district, and it is regulated straight zoned from the UDO. It is not part of the PUD. As you can see in the image, the northern part or north of the site, it is zoned OS for open space, which is the creek itself, and it's also Geist Park, there north of the creek, and some R2 zoning designations as well. South of the property across Geist Ridge Drive, it is zoned R2 for single-family housing. Likewise, to the east and west, properties are zoned R2 within the same zoning district. There's some R1 and some R3 designations within the vicinity, as shown in the image. The Fishers 2040 Comprehensive Plan designates this site as a state residential, and mainly this designation highlights large residential lots and typologies, housing typologies. And you can see this property meets that description pretty accurately. Moving on to the petitioner overview, this, as you mentioned previously, is a request for a variance of development standards. The variance is to allow an increase of the maximum height of a proposed 3,200 square foot accessory structure. This new pole barn will be used mainly for equipment and trailer storage. And you can see here in the proposed site plan, the existing home on the southern part of the property. This property is over 7 acres in size, and the proposed additional accessory structure is to the northwest of the existing home. And you can see it there depicted. There's a little close-up on the right-hand side in the image. You can see the barn is 40 by 80, the footprint of the barn. And it has substantial setbacks on all 4 sides. Here you can see the northern elevation, which will be facing Geist Reservoir and Fall Creek. This elevation is about 840 feet setback from the property line. Here you can see elevation, the west elevation. This west elevation faces an adjacent residential lot, and it is set back approximately 40 feet from the property line. This is the south side elevation, which faces the existing home and is about 200 feet north of the existing home. And lastly, here's the east elevation that also faces an adjacent residential lot, and this one is set back approximately 120 feet from the property line. Just to showcase the details of the requested variance, here's the height of the proposed structure. At its eave, it is 16.75 feet tall, and at the max ridge of the roof line, it is an additional 7 feet, so approximately 24 feet in height, 23 feet in height. And the maximum allowed is 18 feet, so the requested variance is to go from the 18 feet to a 24 feet maximum height for that proposed structure. We have not received any public comment regarding this case at this time, and staff has no recommendation on this request. Should the board approve this petition, we request that you approve it with our standard condition. And I believe the applicant or applicant rep is also present. Not sure if they have a presentation prepared. No presentation, thank you. With that, I'll conclude my presentation unless you have any questions for me.
Members of the board, do you have any questions for staff? Thank you.
Thank you.
This time I'll open, excuse me, at this time I'll open the public hearing. If anyone is here from the public as to speak to VA-25-1, please approach the podium. Seeing no one from the public, I'll close the public hearing. Any questions for staff before we entertain a motion?
No.
Do we have a motion?
Did we ever have a petitioner speak?
The petitioner declined to speak.
Okay,
He relied upon the staff's presentation.
very good.
If we have no questions for petitioner, and because the public hearing is now closed, we're at a point where a motion is
I'll make a motion.
appropriate.
I make a motion that we approve SC 25-2 on the condition that the approval letter and related documentations be recorded on the property with the Hamilton County's Recorder's Office. Did you skip the?
Friendly amendment, I think he means, do you mean VA 25-1, Mr.
Yes,
Swapper?
yeah.
Thank you. We have a motion, do we have a second?
A second on VA 25-1.
Thank you.
Mr. Brinsley?
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Lannon? Mr. Lannon? Mr. Ferrucci?
Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next order of business is 13202 Nottingham Road, special exception. Case SE-25-1, and the request is consideration of a special exception to allow for a short-term rental use, for example, Airbnb, VRBO, on a single-family property zoned R2. Our petitioner is Bao Chen, if I'm saying that correctly, and the planner is Grace Wiley. Is Mr. Chen here? Please approach, state your name and your address, please.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Eric Swanson. I'm representing my father-in-law who is abroad right now and could not, and so he has dubbed me to come and bring the case before you today. So thank you so much for your time. I live in Castleton. My father-in-law and my mother-in-law, they bought the home in 2021, just right after the pandemic. They are full-time missionaries, and so they live abroad probably 6 to 8 months of the year. And so for them to be able to be here to visit us in Castleton, they bought the home so they could be there for those summer months and then in the winter when they can. Our home doesn't accommodate them, and they wouldn't be able to afford to keep the home if we do a long-term rental. If we did something like that, it would take, they couldn't stay there obviously, and we couldn't host them. And then the short term allows them to come and use it when we're able to, but also to host other people. I'm a pastor of Castleton Community Church down on 91st and Allisonville, so we've used it as well to host missionary families in town as well. Recognize the difficulties of having an Airbnb potentially in the neighborhood and the guests that can come at the time. I'd love to hear from the neighbors and what they're hearing, to work with them, hear from you of what issues they have seen. I'm not detailed involved in the situation. My father-in-law it's run by a rental company, home base. We've switched companies at least now twice to make sure that the care of the property is up to the standards of the community. But again, we're willing to hear any feedback on what we would need to change in order to make sure that the neighbors feel like this could continue. So thank you so much for your consideration, and would take any questions that you have tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This time I'd ask staff to present.
Good evening, Ross Hillary, Director of Planning and Zoning, tonight alongside Kevin covering for our staff. So before you is, as mentioned, SE 25-1, which is under the Unified Development Ordinance as a special exception. This property is located at 13202 Nottingham Road. For context, this variance is to consider a special exception to allow for short-term rental, such as Airbnb or Vrbo, on a single-family residential property under R2. In accordance with the UDO Section 546D2B, special exceptions required short-term rentals when the property is not owner-occupied, meaning they reside in that home as they rent it. As mentioned, the property is located at 13202 Nottingham Road. From a zoning perspective, as mentioned, this property is R2. That is a standard zoning district for single-family residential. Surrounding property, as mentioned and seen here, is also R2 residential. The comprehensive plan shows this as a low-density suburban residential, so this property is compliant if used as a single-family home with the comprehensive plan. Context here is an image of the property in question. In July of 2024, neighborhood submitted a complaint that an unauthorized short-term rental was being operated at this property. Per county records, the property owner has owned the property since November of 2020. The property is currently listed on Airbnb as the entire home, with rentals for 6 guests, 3 bedrooms, 3 beds, and 2 baths, for context. 2 public comments were received since the writing of the staff report. Those were provided to you. You can see there on the right map of the home. Lindsay Miller at 104 Chippingham Lane is noted as number 1 on the map. Stated concerns about lawn maintenance, trash can, and unpredictable groups of strangers near the school bus stop. And then public comment number 2 that was also provided to you. Mr. Vess at 13499 Lantern Road, shown as number 2 on the map, opposes special exception, stating concerns about noise and parking. Staff does have no recommendation for the board tonight. If you do approve the special exception, staff asks that it is tied to the owner and the specific use. If the current property owner was to sell or vacate the property, the special exception would be voided. And as typical, an approval letter recorded with the county. Staff is happy to answer any questions.
Members of the board, do we have any questions for staff or petitioner?
I don't.
Mr. Grinslade, questions? Tom? This time, I'm going to open the public hearing and ask members of the public to approach the podium, state their name and their address. It looks as though we have a few folks here who may be here for this petition. When you approach the public hearing and you state your comments, if you've heard the comment from the person in front of you, or maybe 1 or 2 people in front of you, if you just let us know that you're reiterating what the gentleman or the someone before you said, that way we can keep it moving and not hear the same comment 2 or 3 times. So, members of the public, anyone here to remonstrate? Sir? And the gentleman in the tie? Please approach the podium, state your name and address. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for your time again this evening. We appreciate it. I live at 13201, right across the street actually. My name is Michael Piganelli. We've lived there for over 6 years and never ran into any issues before with, we love the age of the neighborhood, mature trees, all of that, but there are no street lights, there are no sidewalks. Oftentimes, when it is occupied to the extent with holding 6 people, that also creates 6 vehicles as it's often not families, or maybe it's people that are staying in town to do work somewhere, or again, we don't want to assume it's a party, but oftentimes each one of those people that are cohabiting that has a vehicle. That is creating instances many times where there are 3 or 4 vehicles on the street that are also coming and going at all hours of the night. Safety for the children in the neighborhood is something that comes into question, as we also don't have the streetlights, don't have the sidewalks, and that is the main mode of transportation to and from the neighborhood park is by street. So I find issue with that, and also just as of having a 10-month-old myself, there's really no way to know who is coming and going from that house and what their intentions are. We always hope they're good, but with something like this, you just don't know, especially in today's world. So we are definitely not a fan of having the coming and going, the trash cans that are there constantly. I think there's some there now that have had trash. The trash goes out on Friday and they reach the curb on Monday and they stay there until Friday pickup. And then it's about a day break between they're back out again. So that's really all I have for you today. I appreciate your time and your consideration for making sure that we can maintain a safe and friendly environment for all the neighborhood people that live there as well. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Hi, Kim Logan, 203 Buckingham Court, Fishers, Indiana. And I brought photos, so you get a little picture of what our neighbors have been. Sorry, I thought there were 3 full and
We can share.
That's
so,
okay.
if you don't mind. So,
We'll take a look. And have you got a copy of this for the petitioner, ma'am? The petitioner? Okay.
I'll share it.
If you could pass them to the petitioner, that'd be, thank you.
so I serve on the Cottingham board, so I wanted to make sure that you know that I am speaking only for myself today, not the board. But over the past 4+ years, this resident's been acting as a short-term rental, as you know, without a permit. Our covenants state that we don't allow commerce in our neighborhood. That is provided to all homeowners prior to purchase. And this has been completely disregarded. This is very frustrating and very disappointing that it would just be ignored. And since, as the petitioner stated, the homeowners live out of state, we are constantly working with a management company that does not take care of the home. Trash bins, as you can see from the pictures, sit out for days. Our trash pickups on Friday, if they have a group over the weekend, they put them out Sunday night when they leave. They're out all week. If no one rents the home that week, they're out another week. Frequently, the neighbors will put them up by the house, but it's really not their responsibility, and it's very frustrating. A couple of times they've had bags of leaves that have been picked up. You know, they'll rake the leaves. The people that do that, they leave them out by the curb. Well, no, you know, Republic, they pick up only what's in the bins. So I have called twice, and most recently, this last year, to say, you need to come and get the bags. Basic maintenance of the home is not cared for. Gutters are very, very clean. You can see what the mailbox looks like. It's probably been hit, either that or even maybe with the bins being so close to the mailbox, depending on where they're at. Also, there's a street drain right there. It's not cleaned out. The neighbors do it. The rest of us take care of our street drains, but because it's not owner occupied, it's that way. So basically, we have been told, you know, well, if you have a problem, call the police. That's not how you do neighbors. I've lived in this neighborhood 36 years. I've yet to call the police on any of my neighbors. This is not appropriate for this. I'm sorry if this is a mode of income, but it's just not appropriate, and we would prefer that you would decline this permit, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vicki Helms. I live at 108 Chippenham Lane. This house and everything that goes on in it is in our backyard. Literally, we're right there behind them. The first year they had this house, we didn't know it was a short-term rental. Nobody asked us anything. Nobody told us anything. We thought a family had moved in. They had not. The first New Year's Eve there was a big party, loud music. Guns were shot off in the backyard, drugs were being used. Just last summer, there was some people staying there. They dragged the furniture out of the house into the backyard so they could lay around on it half-dressed, doing drugs. The only reason they went into the house is because I was gardening and I smelled it. And they went in because I mentioned it. And they went in the house, and there was no point in calling the police because I'm sure it was flushed down a toilet. This is Party Central. There are cars stacked up there all the time, trash is going on all the time, noise going on all the time. This should not be happening in our neighborhood. Should not be. We've been there over 20 years. And after the New Year's Eve party with the guns being shot off, we put up 8 cameras and security lights all around our house because we don't feel safe. We are elderly, and we don't feel safe in our home after 20 years. That's not right. I'm sorry for their problem, but they did not come to our board. They did not say anything to any of the neighbors. They did nothing. And I think we have a right to be safe in our neighborhood. This brings down the property values of everybody around them, because that has to be disclosed if we sell our properties. And not only that, but it's just, they have no vested interest in our neighborhood. They have no vested interest in our community. They don't live there. They don't care. And to my knowledge, they actually threatened to sue when our board sent them a letter. This is not right. That's not right. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one other.
Hello, I'm Tanya Sargent. I'm at 13205 Nottingham. Same issues with trash, leaves picking up, limbs breaking down in a storm, and it's taking weeks for that to get taken care of. My husband has contacted them through the Verbo, asking the management company to send somebody out, get things cleaned up, and it can still take weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I've got, ma'am, come on up, and then I'll take the person that's there next, okay? Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Mary Jo Hammond. I live at 107 Chippenham Lane, so I'm 2 houses north of the property in question. I also served as past president for the Cottingham Estates Homeowners Association, and I brought a copy of the email that I sent to the homeowners back on May 3rd of 2021. Thank you for taking my call this evening. We're happy to welcome you as a resident in our neighborhood. We pride ourselves on our tight-knit community of neighbors and look forward to getting to know you. I'm attaching a copy of the covenants and bylaws for Cottingham Estates. These are provided to every resident as they join our community. They are also on file with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office. Sorry. As I mentioned on the phone, a concern has been raised by the Cottingham Civic Association, our homeowners board. Over the past weekend, there was a large gathering of people at the home, with the address 13202 Nottingham Road in Fishers, with signs depicting a local high school prom and the celebration of graduates displayed on the wall and on the garage and in the yard. This unexpected property use raised concerns with the neighbors in the area. As a result, it was learned that your property has been listed through a vacation rental website. I'll ask that you review the attached documents, making specific note of covenant number 20, which I'll read. No resident or dwelling, house, or structure appurtenant thereto, or any structure of any description whatsoever, shall be used for the purpose of carrying on active trade or commerce with the public. Home-based offices shall be permitted, however, there shall not be any signage advertising said services. The association finds the use of the property as a vacation rental is in violation of the terms of this covenant. We respectfully request that you discontinue the activity. I asked for confirmation of the email, which I did receive, and ultimately they asked for time to consult with their management company. And ultimately, I received an email from them, excuse me, trying to make sure I get in within the time limit. effectively accusing the board of torturous interference with a contract right, entitling the owners to pursue a claim for interfering with their contract rights. Such claim includes the payment of damages, court costs, and attorney's fees. At that time, the board made a decision to not pursue this. We are a relatively small, and I should say, I don't serve on the board any longer. This is in reference to my former role. But we're a homeowners association of 121 properties. Our annual dues are $70 a year. Most of that goes to maintaining our private park. We don't have the funds to be able to pursue anything on a legal front of that magnitude. So I will also mention, and I know I'm over, another concern that has not necessarily been raised by other neighbors. We have seen multiple occurrences of this property being rented for utility companies who are out doing services throughout the greater Fishers area. I've seen as many as 8 utility trucks parked through the driveway and out on the street at least 3 times over the last 4 years. So just adds to the continuation of the concern with the way the property is being used. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There was, folks, we've had a number of folks come and tell us about a variety of different things going on. So if you have something that's unique that you can add to help us, please approach the podium. If you're going to reiterate something that's already been said, I think in the interest of time, we'll not entertain those. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Kevin Smith. I live at 103 Chippenham. I'm about 120 feet away from the property. Yeah, I'll reiterate everything, but the big thing here is that I've lived here for 10 years. I have 2 boys that I've raised. They're graduating this year, but for the entire time, that property has been the site of the bus stop. And with everything else that's been going on, that is my biggest concern with the youth. We have a few children on our roundabout. We have a few children down the street that are going to be using that as a bus stop. That's my biggest concern, is not being able to, I guess, dictate the safety for the children right across, literally right there at that corner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very helpful. Thank you, sir. Ma'am?
Hi, my name's Jennifer Puckett. I live at 13424 Nottingham Road. I'm probably the biggest distance away from most of the neighbors that are here. I'm going to reiterate everything else that the neighbors said, but I would like to piggyback on to what this gentleman just said. We were fortunate enough to move into this neighborhood kind of as it was going through a turnabout. We were one of the first with younger families to kind of move back in, and we're seeing that again. And I want to just make sure that I share my concern about the bus stops. Our children wait in our neighbors' driveways. We don't have street lights. The buses come in the dark now. And when all those cars are parked around that corner, you can't see the kids. When I drive to and from work, you have to go very slowly. So all of those people coming in and out of the neighborhood, they're not going to know that that's a bus stop for people. I just want to make sure that we reiterate that the safety of the kids that are starting to come into our development now are going to be kept safe. Thank you.
I think we've got one more person, maybe. Ma'am? There we go.
Reiterating it all, I'm sorry, my name's Debbie Thomas. I live right across the street at 13203 Nottingham Road. Things that I have witnessed, like with the lawn care, I've seen the lawn care gentleman cut the grass with a weed eater, the entire lawn with a weed eater, which is a very messy look. We pride ourselves in our neighborhood on how well we take care of everything. But one day I noticed that they went over 2 houses down and just took fruit off of that neighbor's tree for their snack, their lunch break. I did try to explain to them how things work, like with the leaves and what they can and can't set out for Republic to pick up or raise at the time, or whichever service it was. And they couldn't understand what I was saying anyway, but I tried to convey that information to them. So that's kind of a mess if I can't communicate with them. I feel like they haven't tried, the owners haven't tried to actually find out how things work. When does the trash come? When do we set that out? Is there a leaf service in Fishers? No, there's not. That's in Noblesville. So, you know, it would have always been helpful if someone could have actually put in the time to find out what the rules are around here. And then reiterating about the school bus stop. I don't know how Verbo vets their guests, but a child predator could stay in that house. And they're not allowed to be around children, and there's a school bus right there, school bus stop. So I think that's about all I had to add. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Seeing no one else, I would commend everyone who's come this evening to speak. We really appreciate it. Petitioner, if you want to take a moment to respond.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm so sorry. Again, I've not heard these things before. I'm sad to hear that you feel unsafe, and your kids especially. I've got a 7, 8-year-old, so I understand that. And so with all I'm hearing right now, I'm going to save everybody's time and just revoke the petition, and I will talk to my in-laws specifically and make it really clear, hey, it's not a neighborhood that can house this sort of rental, regardless of whether it benefit to us and our family to have them here. It doesn't make sense, especially with the sidewalks, especially with the bus stop. Those things I just didn't know. Obviously, we can't vet who rents it, as best, we don't know that specifically. We can say no parties, that's always in the thing, so that's a violation of the contract that's there. But ultimately, what I'm hearing is just like, it's not worth it to you all. I don't want you to feel that way. And I do care about the community. I care about, again, I'm a pastor just on the road, so I do care about it. And me hearing this for the first time, I just want to save everybody's time, and I'll revoke that specifically. I don't know any official way to do that, but I'll make sure that my father-in-law knows, and as soon as we are able, we can stop that. Again, whether or not I'll encourage him to sell it or to find a long-term rental, somebody who will care about it and make sure that the upkeep is the way it's at. That's kind of where I think this needs to go.
Thank you. I do have a question for our legal counsel.
Well, the matter's already been heard, so the board would then have to make a decision regardless of the pull of the petition. You could.
Can I just motion to deny?
Right. My point being that you're even with the pooling of the decision or the matter you can't take it off of the record. It's on the record.
Yeah.
So you guys have to make a motion and decide one way or the other regardless.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. So with that, do we have any questions, or are we ready to entertain a motion?
I think we're ready to entertain a motion. And Rodney, thanks for the clarification on the legal ramifications regarding that. At this
I'll make a motion to deny.
Mr. Lannon has made a motion to deny. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Stevenson has seconded. Go ahead.
Mr. Grinslade?
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Lannon?
Aye.
And Mr. Ferrucci?
That's a yes. So the motion to deny has been passed. The petition fails. All right. And with that, we again, I'd like to commend everyone for coming this evening, for informing us. There was a lot of passion in the room, but I think that's justifiable passion. Everyone was respectful of one another. We really appreciate that in the way that you've handled yourselves. So thank you all very much for coming this evening. With that, I'm going to close the new business, staff communication.
There was one proposed update to the rules and procedures that we'd like to put in front of you tonight and do request a vote on tonight. So on the screen in front of you is Article 6, which provides the rules and procedures for the hearing, rehearing, and continuations. Section 3, and specifically Area B, which is highlighted in red, is what we're requesting to be updated. After the petitioner or the representative presenting their statement and evidence, the staff presents a staff report and staff recommendations, which, as you know, is either recommend to approve, deny, or no recommendation. This is not a new practice or a change to our procedure, but updating these rules would allow all parties to understand what our order of hearing is. So with that, happy to answer any questions if you have that tonight.
I would move to approve the proposed update to the rules of procedures.
I'll second that motion.
Yes.
Mr. Sylvie?
Yes.
Mr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Lannon,
Aye.
Mr. Ferrucci.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals for the City of Fishers today, Wednesday, March 26th, 2025.